Story 1. The Tapping on the Attic Window, Asheville, North Carolina. There's something about rain at night, it makes the world feel smaller, like sound can't travel far enough to save you. Back in 2016, I was house-sitting for my aunt in Asheville while she was in France. Her house was this beautiful but oddly long Victorian on the edge of Bowcatcher Mountain. It had an attic I didn't dare go into, creaky floors, and a furnace that made groaning noises at random. The first night there it rained, a classic North Carolina downpour, fat loud drops slapping the windows, thunder rolling like distant drums. I made tea, turned on a lamp, and curled up with a book around 10:30. Around midnight I heard a tap, just one. I looked up from my book, nothing. I assumed it was a branch, but then it came again, this time 2 soft taps. Deliberate. I paused. The rain was louder now, the house colder. Then I heard it, not a tap on the first floor window near me, but above me. From the attic window, I held my breath. The attic had no way up except a rickety pull-down ladder in the hallway. My aunt kept it locked with a latch. I stood under the trapdoor, heart thumping. Silence, no tapping. Then suddenly 3 sharp knocks, knock, 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 from inside the attic. I bolted into her guest room and locked the door. Tried to rationalize, maybe wood expansion, maybe a critter. I barely slept. Next morning I checked the latch, still secured. I convinced myself it was just storm weirdness. But it happened again the next night. 12:09 a.m. sharp tapping from the attic window. But this time it was followed by something worse, the sound of something crawling across the attic floor, slowly scraping wood. I swear it sounded like nails or claws. The following night I set my phone to record audio. I left it under the attic ladder and slept with the door open, knife under my pillow. The tapping came again like clockwork. Morning came. I played back the audio. What I heard chilled me. A low whispering voice saying, "Let me down." It repeated it 3 times, then a long dragging sound. I showed the clip to my friend Kyle, who's into sound design. He confirmed it wasn't wind. He even isolated the audio. The voice was layered like more than one whisper at once. I texted my aunt. She replied hesitantly, saying, "There's something trapped in the attic. Just don't let it out. Please." That same day I packed and left. Couldn't even look at the attic door. A week later she emailed, "Whatever you did, it's quiet now." I never replied, and when it rains, I swear sometimes I still hear the tapping from windows I know are sealed shut. Story 2. The Storm Slick Backyard Figure. Portland, Oregon. They say Portland rain has a rhythm to it, like a whispering metronome. But one night in 2019 it sounded wrong, too heavy, too fast, like it was trying to drown out something else. I had just moved into a rental near Powell Butte Nature Park after a bad breakup, and the solitude was supposed to help me heal. The house was a post-war 2-bedroom, slightly sagging on one side. Its backyard stretched into a wooded ravine shielded by a fence that leaned like it was tired of holding back the trees. That night I stayed up watching old horror movies with the storm raging outside. Lightning cracked above the trees like the sky was tearing. Sometime around 1:00 a.m. I heard the metal gate behind the house click. I muted the TV. Another click, like it hadn't latched properly and was now swinging with the wind. I figured I'd fix it in the morning. But then I heard the crunch of wet gravel. Footsteps, slow, deliberate, not a possum, not a raccoon. Too heavy. I looked out the kitchen window into the backyard. Lightning flashed, and there he was. A man in a soaked, wide-brimmed hat, standing still, looking directly at the house. No umbrella, no coat, just drenched. His arms hung strangely as if unbothered by the cold. I froze. Another flash gone. I backed away. Then the gate creaked again, this time closing. I rushed to the front window, nothing on the street. I thought maybe it was a hallucination from stress. But I locked every door and window anyway. I couldn't sleep. At 2:41 a.m. the power cut out. The storm kept thrashing, and without the TV noise, the silence was unbearable. I lit a candle, just one, and sat in the living room, knife in hand. Then came the knock, slow, on the back door, not the front. I nearly screamed. No voice followed, just 3 more knocks. I called 911 on my phone, whispering everything. The dispatcher told me to stay calm, stay quiet, help was coming. I didn't dare check the door. I sat in the hallway trying to control my breathing. About 5 minutes later, the knocking stopped, but I swear I heard faint breathing through the door. Then it faded. Cops arrived 12 minutes later. They checked the yard, found boot prints, men's size 12, heading to the tree line. Then they found something worse, a Polaroid photo jammed under the back door, soaked. It showed me sleeping on the living room couch, taken from outside the window. The timestamp 11:56 p.m. before I saw him. They searched the nearby woods but found nothing. I stayed with my sister for 2 weeks. When I returned, I installed cameras and new locks. Nothing ever happened again. But I never forgot that photo. Whoever he was, he watched me first and wanted me to know it. And every time it rains hard in Portland, I keep the blinds shut. I'm not afraid of ghosts anymore. It's the living ones that knock quietly in the dark that still keep me up. Story 3. The Woman at the Window. During the flash flood, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Some people fear lightning, some fear thunder, but I fear the silence that comes right before a southern storm hits, the way the wind dies and the air feels like it's holding its breath. Back in 2018, I was living alone in Baton Rouge while attending LSU. My apartment was on the ground floor of a 2-story complex near Old Hammond Highway. It wasn't glamorous, but it was mine. That spring night, the weather reports warned of potential flash floods. I stocked up, charged my phone, and settled in early. Around 11:15 p.m., the rain started. Soft at first, then instantly violent like a flipped switch. Thunder was so constant it felt like my ribs vibrated with each roll. Then somewhere after midnight, the streetlights went out. No power. Just me, battery lanterns, and a wall of rain outside. At 12:47 a.m., I heard a light tapping, this time at my bedroom window. I lived alone. My bedroom faced the courtyard, not the sidewalk, and it had thick hedges around it. No one had any reason to be there. I stayed still. Then came another tap, longer this time, like a finger sliding slowly across the pane. I worked up the nerve to look. My curtains were drawn but thin, and right through them I saw the shape of a head. A woman's silhouette, long dripping hair, her face pressed to the glass. I backed away fast, heart hammering. I whispered to myself, someone's outside, someone's outside. But when I peeked again, nothing. I waited, called my friend Julian and kept him on speaker. He said maybe it was a trick of the light, maybe. Until I heard water dripping inside. I turned and there she was, not in full, just wet footprints, leading from the window, across my carpet to the hallway. But the window wasn't broken, still locked. I crept forward. No one, but I felt it. That air pressure, like something had passed through. The footprints vanished midway through the hall. I barely slept, watching the front door like a hawk. Morning came. The floodwaters had risen 2 feet overnight and my courtyard was submerged. Maintenance came around noon. I asked if any neighbors had visitors last night. The guy paused. You didn't hear a woman drowned last year right in this courtyard. Tried to climb out the hedge during a flash flood. People say she still knocks trying to get in. I laughed it off, nervously. He shrugged and added strangest part. Every year same night, March 28th, someone reports wet footprints inside. I checked the date. March 28th. I moved out before the next spring, but sometimes when I'm alone and the rain starts to hit the glass just right, I find myself watching for her shape in the window. Because if she's still trying to get in, I sure as hell don't want to be the one who lets her.